So here we are. I'm in my new office. It has a chalkboard, right? I'll show you the rest of my office. I'll just let you spin around after this. But I want to try just solving a problem on the chalkboard. I always do it on the paper. And there's a lot of great things in this problem. So let me just get right to it. And this is an example of using the Lagrangian mechanics, although I will check it with something else. But this way you can kind of see my face, right? And I can see yours. No, I can't. Okay, so let's do it. So this is this is a uniform chain that sits on a table. So here I have a chain of length L, has a mass M, and then so it have a linear mass density of M over L. And so I put this chain, frictionless chain, on a table and I have a little bit hanging over there and I'll let it go. And I want to find the motion of this chain, or at least an equation of motion of this chain as it slides down. I kind of like chalk. Now, this is not a real chain, because imagine if a real chain starts sliding off, what's going to happen is there's going to be a gravitational force pulling on this part, there's a normal force that balances the part up there, but then as more and more of the chain hangs over, then there's a greater force pulling it down, so there's less of the weight pushing up right here, the normal force pushing up there. But the problem is that imagine as this thing speeds up, now it has some horizontal velocity too, so it's not just going to do this this nice simple motion, it's going to actually slide and fall off too. And that's a really cool problem, and I'd like to look at that later, but I just want to use this as an example of trying out my chalkboard. And I'm testing out the acoustics and stuff like that in my new office to see if I need to do anything. I don't even know if the acoustics are bad. This may be a terrible video. I may delete this and you'll never see it. Who knows? Okay, so this is we want to use Lagrangian. So in Lagrangian, I'm going to say L equals T minus U, where T is the kinetic energy, U is the potential energy, and then the equation of motion can be found from minimizing the action, finding the least action over time. And from that you can use the Euler-Lagrange equation, which says that the partial of L with respect to some variable, let's call it Q for right now, equals the time derivative of L with respect to the derivative of Q dot. Okay, so Q dot is dq dt. So how many variables do I have in the system? If the chain does indeed do this motion, 1 degree of freedom will explain the whole problem. I'm going to go ahead and let's pick this as my variable S. Right? So S is the amount of chain that's hanging over the edge. And that means that this piece up here is going to be L minus S. So that's L minus S is the length of that, S is the length of that. So let's go ahead and write down the kinetic energy term. I could do this, and I'm going to write it out the full way. I'm not going to take a shortcut here. I'm going to say, well, I need to find the kinetic energy of this. The variable is S, so the velocity would be S dot, and then the kinetic energy of that. And the velocity of that is also S. So I'm going to say this is T equals 1/2. I kind of already like the paper, but 1/2 m1 S dot squared plus 1/2 m2 S dot squared. So in this, m1 is this piece and m2 is this piece. So what's the mass of this piece? Well, it depends on the length. So it'd be this length times the linear density, lambda. So this is going to be T is 1/2 m1, which is going to be L. Let's write it as this. I do like chalk, I'll tell you. It's going to be lambda L minus S dot squared. And then the other piece is going to be plus 1/2 lambda times its length, which is S, times S dot squared. Now I can multiply this out and I get 1/2 lambda L S dot squared minus 1/2 lambda S dot squared, and then that term plus 1/2 lambda S dot squared. I think the board's kind of small. What do you think? I mean, I feel like I would have one train of thought. If the board was maybe, 50 centimeters wider, I'd feel better. But then I get the kinetic energy is 1/2 lambda L S dot squared. These two terms cancel. That makes sense, right? This piece has the same velocity as that piece. So the whole chain is moving with the same speed, even though in different directions. So I can just say the total mass, which is lambda times L, times the velocity s dot. Okay, what about the potential energy, U? What about U? Let's see, so I'm going to I need to pick its gravitational potential energy, and just to make it as easy as possible, I'm going to pick y equals 0 right up here. So this piece of the chain on the table doesn't have any potential energy. It just makes it easier for me. I'm going to make things as easy as possible, right? I'm not going to make things hard. I'm making them easy. So then what's the potential energy of this? And I actually worked this out beforehand because I wanted to make sure I could do it, and I made a mistake, and here's the mistake I made. Well, I know the mass of the piece, right, is lambda times s. So this is going to be m2 gy. That's the gravitational potential at negative, right? So the m2 is the mass of that piece, g is the gravitational field, and y is the location of the center of mass of the piece. Okay, it's not s. The center of mass of that piece is going to be s over 2. So it's going to be the mass, which is going to be negative lambda times s times g times s over 2. I just did s, and that's where I made a mistake. Okay, so this is going to be equal to negative lambda g over 2 s squared. And I can put that all in for my Lagrangian. L equals t, which is 1/2 lambda L s dot squared minus a negative, so it's going to be plus lambda over 2 g s squared. Okay, so I got my Lagrangian. Now I can use the Euler-Lagrange equation to find my equation of motion. Okay, so I need to take the partial of L with respect to S. The partial of L with respect to S. Well, there's only one place that has an S, and it's right here. So if I take the partial of this with respect to S, I have S squared. So I'm going to bring the factor of 2 down, and I get that's going to cancel with this 2, and I get lambda g s, right? Because bring the 2 down, and it's going to be s to the first power, and I just get lambda g s. Now I need to take the partial of L with respect to s dot, partial of L with respect to s dot. Again, there's only one s dot term in there, it's right there. So again, it's a power rule. I bring the 2 down, 2 times 1/2 is 1, so I get lambda L s dot. Now I need to take the derivative of this with respect to time, d dt, partial of L with respect to s dot, and that's going to be L lambda s double dot. L and lambda don't change with time, so I don't have to worry about time derivatives with them. So now I can just set this equal to that, and no, this equal to that. I get lambda g s equals L lambda s double dot. Lambda cancels, and I get s double dot equals g over L s. So this says that the acceleration increases linearly with the position. So it would start off with a low acceleration, the acceleration would increase until s is equal to L, and then the acceleration would be g, which makes sense. So the units work out, that works out, but there is one other way we can check this. If you looked at this and you think about something hanging over the edge, what would it be like? And the answer is, it'd be like a half Atwood machine. So a half Atwood machine has a cart or frictionless block on the table with a string going to a pulley over another block. And I'm going to call this, I called this M2 before, so I'll call it M2, M1. So you can solve this problem, and I actually did this. If I remember, I'll put it down there, a link to that solution. But the easy way to think about this is what force accelerates the system. It's the force on this bottom mass. So the force is going to be m2g. And then what is the mass that accelerates? What's the total mass? m1 plus m2. So it's m1 plus m2a. So this is F equals ma. F net is equal to ma. Yes, there's a normal force and a gravitational force on this piece, but they cancel. Okay. so that's that. And then if I solve that for the acceleration, I get m2g over m1 plus m2. Now I want to get this in terms of this. So if I have a amount hanging over s, then what would this m2 piece be? Would be s times lambda. So I can say A equals s times lambda. That's at m2g. And then what's the total mass? The total mass is going to be lambda times L. So I get sg over L. Same thing. Same thing. That's acceleration. So that's legitimate. Okay. This wouldn't be too hard to solve, right? We can solve this by integrating both sides. That's not too difficult, and I'm trying to think why I shouldn't do that. I just don't really want to do that right now. I just want to use the board, right? Okay, I did tell you I would show you my room, so I'm still setting up, so don't expect a lot. I've been in an office right over there for 19 years. Moving here, they have a window. I really wanted the window. I'm not sure if I'm really fully bonded with the room yet, but let's just take a look around. Okay, so here is the window, and these are tinted, and there's me. They're tinted, so it's really not that dark outside, but it is dark because it's cloudy. And then over here, window, more window, and there's my desk right down here. I'll see, there's the desk. There's my jacket. And then I have just a little tabletop over here. This is where I plan to make videos on paper, and you can see I'm still moving stuff. And then back over here to the door. And that's that. Okay. So there you go. Let's see if you like that. I feel like I'm going to redo this and do it on paper, but I do like how that looks. It looks pretty, so I'm going to take a picture right now. Okay. See you guys later.